Hi there, it's Monday and we're back to Binance Coin. We're going to look at the same charts with new information as well as our Wyckoff lens as usual. So, in the weekly, last week we put in a question mark. Is this the upwards of the distribution? And this week we started for 16 hours right now for this candle, and it seems there was a bit of selling force at around $860. So we see this little wick on the top, and if this is really coming back down, not that it must be the case, because last week the volume was still a little bit higher than the week before, and if this week there are like positive sentiments and people are still getting into Binance Coin, then there's still a chance that it shows a little bit of red and then eventually it continue to go up. So that's why we still keep this question mark over here, whether this has really peaked. Though if we consider the inertia or like the tendency to go back to normal, it is possible that the price is going to come down to this blue box, the top edge, to test it. This support line is a moving support. If it comes down sharply this week, then it will come back to test that 740 or mid 740 range. If it comes in the next few weeks, then the line will get to around 70, like 770. So that's where it's heading, because if it's really showing this tendency to come back to the support line and eventually goes up, or like edge along this to gather enough momentum before it goes up, then obviously it will come back to test this line. And we also put in the LPSY here as well, because if this is really an upwards of the distribution and it comes down, obviously it's not it's unlikely, I would say, that it goes like a straight line like this. A lot of times people will come in and buy whenever it hits support lines, right? So there will be little bumps along the line of price decline. So here we put in a mark here that, okay, while there's a chance that it comes down to test this first support, and then the orange line, the second support at mid 740s, and eventually the third support is currently the green line at around 670. Though if it goes past September and the price still hasn't come down, then the third support would be the other blue line. So there are 4 lines that we're talking about, and it depends on how quickly things evolve. It may be, the order of sequence that it becomes a support would be different. So that's the 3 lines of support as of this moment. I won't cover the yellow and the purple because we're still far from those support lines, but I'll extend them so next time when we come in, maybe there's a chance that we'll have to talk about it. So that's the weekly. Remember, if this is really upwards of the distribution, we expect some kind of adjustments. So there's a thing that we, like in Wyckoff, the textbook way of writing, they don't talk about this. It is almost like another automatic reaction after the upthrust. So after buying climax, there is an automatic reaction. Likewise, after upthrust, there would be one, and then there's second test, and eventually LPSYs. Well, similarly, for upthrust of the distribution, I would expect something similar. It is just that where it's going to end. So we talk about all these resistance lines. Those are the levels that this would happen, and then eventually there may be a second test and then an LPSY, depending on how high it bounced. Because if it falls through any of these supports, those support lines will become resistance lines. So we'll see how it happens. Going into the daily, we talk about this upthrust, right? So it's time to adjust it because it took a pause and then it shoots up again. So the whole leg is still going on, and currently there's no other resistance reference that we can get. It's only the psychological numeric points like 880, currently is 860, those kind of stuff like 900, 920, because people are always anchored to these numbers. So of course there would be people front running and then like they sell or they set their take profit price at maybe 879 or 899 just to front run whoever that set their prices at those like unit points. And here it's the same thing, so it's the upthrust over here, and then now it's time for something like this, an adjustment, an automatic reaction after a long period of upthrust. So there was a little bit of a pause over there, but like I said, that at that time, let me enlarge this so it's easier for you if you're watching on a mobile. This point, this wick over here, it's close to 810. So like I said earlier, 800, 810, 820, always there are these price marks. This one is near 800, this green bar over here, the wick. So people are always anchored to these numbers. So that's why we always see they kind of ending somewhere near, and these two are 750. So that's pretty consistent. So here, what I'm trying to get to is, in the next few days, the price may retrace the beat to this automatic reaction. Again, we already talked about the support lines. So one thing I want to point out, we talked about this last week, that these triangles and these wedges were there, but then the breakout already happened. So I mentioned like the breakout won't happen exactly at the tip. They will break out sooner usually. So this happens last week, and then this week we will see whether it comes back to this wedge, because if it does, if the price stays above the yellow line and continues within this wedge, an upward wedge is a bearish sign. So hopefully it doesn't follow the textbook definition, otherwise it will fall through the blue and maybe also the yellow and come test this pale blue or sky blue line. The sky blue line is the bottom of the upward trend. So again, after upthrust, expect some adjustment if this has already peaked. But looking at the volume, it looks like there is increased uncertainty given these two, especially this high red bar over here. That high bar, people seems to be like agreeing on that day, at least at a point that's around 780. But then like yesterday and even the day, 3 days before, it's a bit crazy, I would say, especially yesterday. So be really careful what's going to come. If the adjustment is near, if it's really an upthrust, and if this is on a weekly really an upthrust of the distribution, then this adjustment would be quite deep, if not going all the way back to where the white line is at around 780. So that's assuming it is like people are optimistic. I have to untime my lips. Optimistic about the crypto as well as Binance ecosystem for this distribution cycle to end high at near the white line, the first white line. Otherwise, it may come back to somewhere like at the second or even the third white line. That's very deep retracement, which, given all the positive support the industry has, it's less likely that it end up here, but there's still a chance. So one more line I want to add, because I just looked at it and maybe it's worth take a look. So is this, so you can extend this all the way back to the moment it climbed. So it more or less aligned to the light blue box. I just want to do this quickly to check. And one more thing, inside the daily chart, there's the magic squeeze that I used to show. So if you're new, whenever the orange bracket the purple, then there is a chance that the price will have a drastic move, either upwards like this or downwards, as in this example. So it's not like always go up, but it can go down as well. But the thing is, it will show us whenever there's a squeeze, like the orange bracketing. Sorry, I have to change the chart wheel. Whenever the orange is bracketing the purple, there may be a chance, or a more likely chance, that there will be a drastic price move upwards or downwards. Either way, it depends on the stage we're at. So that's why I use this to combine with the Wyckoff to see where the prices would potentially be going. So